Have you ever worried that you might not be able to reach your aspirations, as if you've worked so hard for something, but still may come up short? Look, if you're feeling like that, don't worry. I felt the same way. I had this dream, but I was never able to reach it. Despite putting so much time, attention, and energy into pursuing that dream, I still fell short. And if 10 to 15 years ago you were to tell me how short I actually fell of that dream, I would have been heartbroken. I would have felt miserable, and perhaps I would have even felt like a failure. However, as I reflect on it, I have realized that life has had a much more profound vision for my life, and it has provided me with a larger platform to make a greater impact and inspiration to those around me. What's going on? This is Kyle Bunnell, and I coach student athletes for the larger game of life. I empower them to transcend their limitations and unleash the potential inside them so they can express it to inspire a greater whole. And now that you know the game plan, let's get back after it so that you can ball out in your game and in the larger game of life. In 2008, I made a commitment that one day I would play professional basketball and that everybody who would watch me play would be inspired by the way I played the game. And you know, as a kid, it's like, all right, so it is said, so it is done. Let's get after it. And growing up, I was always a very successful athlete. My team seemed to win every game that we played in, and there was no doubt in my mind that one day I would play pro. Until a few years later, when I was about 12 to 13 years old, for whatever reason, I stopped growing. And for the past 13 to 15 years of my life, I essentially haven't grown, haven't aged, and haven't developed. And when this happened, I started to see that my dream was being taken away from me. Yet I realized that would force me to become the hardest worker and the most well-rounded athlete out there, and that if I could overcome my lack of size and still play pro, it would make a much greater impact and inspiration to those who watch me play the game. And so I started to buckle down on my training. In the summer between my 7th and 8th grade years, so when I was about 12 to 13 years old, I was in the gym for hours every single day. I was doing basketball skills training workouts, lifting weights, doing plyometrics, running around the neighborhood, everything that I could do to enhance my physical body. I also started to watch my nutrition, train my mind, make sure I was getting to bed at a good time every night so that I could enhance my recovery. Any little thing that I could find that would give me an edge, I completely immersed myself in. And as a result, I still was able to remain competitive despite my lack of size. However, this also led to me completely overtraining myself and getting completely burned out. So burned out to where I actually had to be taken out of sports altogether so that I could recover. And when I was taken out of sports, once again, I saw my dream being taken away from me. Yet I decided that if I could overcome my lack of size and now overcome these medical conditions, I would make such a more profound inspiration if I still was able to play pro one day. So once I was able to recover from my sickness and get back into sports, I went after it again and I became competitive again and still had that belief that one day I would be able to play pro. However, a few years later, when I was getting ready to play varsity basketball, once again, I completely overtrained myself. At this time in my life, I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning before school so that I could lift weights and that I could train for basketball. Then I'd go to school, go to practice, train again after practice, go home, do homework, go to bed, pretty much rinse and repeat that day after day. And as a result of this extreme training, once again, I got completely sick and burned out to the point where I had to be removed from sports so that I could recover properly. And when I was removed from sports, I started to feel like that dream was taken away from me yet again. But then I thought, hey, if I'm able to overcome my lack of size and now overcome my medical conditions twice, I can make a much greater inspiration on those who would watch me play. And so I decided to get back after it. And once I recovered to the point where I could get back into sports, I continued to be competitive and I continued to chase down my dream. Until a few years later, and the third and final time that the same situation played itself out in, I was getting ready to play college basketball and I was going to try out for the team, and I started training super intense once again and training more intensely than I had ever done before. And this time, I got injured. I got extremely sick and burned out to the point where I'm still dealing with the repercussions of how severely depleted I was to this day. And that ended up taking me out of sports altogether, and it ended my competitive athletic career. And once that happened, I lost sight of who I was. I was no longer an athlete. My dream that I had worked so hard for was taken away from me. There was nothing else I felt like I could have done. I trained harder than everybody else. I was training everything, my body, my mind, my nutrition, my lifestyle, my sleep. I was writing my goals every single night before bed. When I laid in bed before I'd fall asleep, I would visualize myself performing in a basketball game. Yet everything that I could have done, I still fell up short. And at first I was heartbroken. My identity was taken away from me. Everything that I had lived for was gone in an instant. And I felt like my platform to inspire other people was taken away from me. In my mind, I was no longer that person who could overcome to inspire others. In my mind, I had succumbed to defeat and lost. And although it was very difficult to make the step from being an athlete to being an athlete of life, I've realized that life had a much more profound vision for me. And looking back at it now, I never could have wished to be a professional athlete. Life has given me so many more experiences, opportunities, skills, and platforms to share my gifts and to share my story, to uplift and inspire other people around me. And through not playing pro and through not reaching my dream, life has provided me with a larger platform to make a greater impact and inspiration to those around me than I could have ever foreseen before. So if you are struggling, worrying that you might fall short of your dream one day, no matter how much time, effort, attention, and energy you put into pursuing it, rest assured that just like me, if you do happen to fall short of your dream, it is because life has a much more profound vision for your future and will provide you with a much larger platform to make a greater impact and inspiration to those around you. I wish you well on your journey to trusting life and allowing it to show you the platform it has for you to make a great impact and inspiration to those around you. And I send love, gratitude, peace, and blessings to you. Thank you. Hey, wait, before we break, I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you tuning in today. And I also wanted to let you know that every weekday morning, I create a Minute Motivation, which is a quick inspirational video to inspire you for the rest of your day. They are simply my free gift to you to assist you in your process of experiencing, remembering, and actualizing who and what you are so you can express it to inspire a greater whole. If you would like to receive access to these Minute Motivations, click the link in the description and follow all the instructions on the upcoming pages to ensure that you receive them. Additionally, if you would like to like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow this channel, or do whatever other people do on social media, please do so if you feel called to do so. And finally, if there is ever anything that I can do to help you out, whether you feel you are ready to move beyond your game and train to be an athlete for life, or if there are any specific content ideas that you would like me to cover, please let me know. Reach out to me. My email is also linked for you in the description, and let me know how I can help you to become the athlete, the student, and most of all, the person that you were born to be. It has been an honor, a blessing, and a privilege to be here with you today, and I am here to inspire you every step of your way.